All right, guys, phenomenal morning. I am your host, Sean Wright East. Listen, I am phenomenally flanked by Bobby Jackson this morning. Listen, guys, it's a Monday. Phenomenal Monday, guys. I know a lot of people cringing up, a lot of people pulling the covers over their head like Monday. Oh my God, it's the worst day of the week. Listen, this is the best opportunity possible. Best opportunity possible. Listen, I love Monday. I love Monday. Sometimes I dislike Friday, though. You know, Bobby, I dislike Friday because I know Saturday's coming and people like to sleep in. Like there's only a little bit of business that takes place on Saturdays and Sundays. So I'm excited for Monday, man. I'm excited for Monday.
I think I'm in the same boat. I was reading last night the 17 indisputable laws of teamwork. And one of the indisputable laws that they talked about was being a catalyst. And what he meant by that was being a game changer, a playmaker, someone that shakes and moves.
Catalyst. Go ahead.
Catalyst. He's like, be that. So I remember us talking a few days ago about everybody wants what it looks like, but no one really wants what it feels like. And I was thinking about the success that I've seen while being a part of the brand, you know, the 400% revenue growth for 3 consecutive years. And it sounds great. Everybody, I think if they could say, what would I do if my numbers looked like that? What would my life look like if I was able to grow that fast? And I think we all like what it sounds like, what it looks like, the momentum, but what it feels like can be very, very interesting. So that's what I'm feeling this morning. I'm like, it's Monday. I got to be a catalyst today. I got to shake something up. Like I got to get out here and make something happen because that's what that 400% revenue growth feels like. It feels like
that's right.
All the time.
That's right. So 400 got to become 500.
Got to become 500.
400 got to become 500, got to become 6, 7, 800. It's not possible. Listen, guys, you cannot come down. Like, what's your energy like? Put in the chat. Like, put in the chat what your energy is like. Put it in the comments. Put it there for Facebook. Matter of fact, share this out, guys. Share out this kind of energy. I need you to share this out. Share this out to your followers, to your people, because you want to become a catalyst for them. Wake them up. Let us help you wake them up. What would happen if the people that followed you was adamant, energetic, ready to go, fired up? How would that change your business and change your platform and change your ability to communicate in the industry of your choice? Listen, guys, I don't know what vertical you're in, but this is what I will tell you. High levels of energy, high levels of execution, branding, leadership, speaking. This works in all industries. I have helped people in every single vertical that you can think of. HR, pilots, medicine, nursing, finance, transportation, relationships, health and wellness. It doesn't make a difference. I don't care. This is the beautiful thing, right? Authenticity, personal branding, leadership development does not have vertical constraints. It does not have vertical constraints. So I'm going to give you a chat. I'm going to give you a moment. I'm going to give you a chance to share this out because your people, your flock, your following will need what we have to say next. That's a guarantee. There's slow growth and then there's scale. There's incremental growth and then there's exponential growth. What I want to talk to you about is adding a 0 to you and experiencing exponential scale. Incremental growth says 1 + 1 is 2. Exponential growth says 1 + 0 is 10. Incremental growth says 2 + 2 is 4. Exponential growth says 5 + 0 is 50. Guys, listen, when you add a 0 to you, you can add a 0 to the marketplace. You can add a 0 to the value that you bring. So you can add a 0 to your family, add a 0 to your legacy. This is what we're talking about. We're not talking about incremental. We're talking about exponential. I always say that business is a spiritual game. Just imagine when you combine your skills, your values, your abilities, your talents to something bigger than you, something greater than you, something like the power of exponential. That is adding a 0. Add a 0 to your competence. Add a 0 to your confidence. This is about adding a zero in your life, your value, your industry, and your mission. Let's grow. The reason why I did this and what I do is help leaders to become brands and brand themselves. You train people how to treat you by how you treat yourself. I teach authenticity marketing. If people can take advantage of you, they will in your personal or professional existence.
My biggest takeaway just from day one is you are the brand. I would recommend it to anybody that's really looking to build a personal brand.
Just the brand in general has changed my life. I've grown so much since I've been a part of this.
I see myself in what he does, and I believe in it just as much as I believe in myself.
All right, guys. So listen, I'm going to open up with something that is pretty commonplace. And I want you to just think for a moment, right? As I put this forth. So, I'm always on business media. We don't call it social media, but I'm always on business media. I keep my fingers to the pulse, right? I keep my fingers to the pulse. And I saw something this morning that just made me say, I'm going to go ahead and speak on it. I'm going to speak on it the way I feel about it, right? I'm going to just be honest. And hopefully you can take my energy with a grain of salt. I heard someone say, I'm going for a minor operation today. Please pray for me. I'm going in for a minor operation today. Will somebody please pray for me? Right? I said, okay. But then I scrolled down to see how active the person was. Because you're asking for something. That's a request. You're putting an ask out there. Now, I just want to help everybody out with sales and value and reciprocal, the law of reciprocation. Pay very close attention because this will help you in your business. This will help you in your life. This will help you in your health because you'll feel better. So a person asks for prayers because they're going in for a minor surgery, minor procedure, and asks for prayers. What do they say? Prayer warriors. Can my prayer warriors please stand up? I'm going through something. Okay, great. But I scrolled up to see how active the person was. And I saw, Bobby, I saw that the person hadn't posted for almost a year.
Oh.
Yeah, so you got somebody who's not engaging, not adding value, and all of a sudden it's like, give me all of this value. Give me all of your positive energy. But you're not putting positive energy out there. So a lot of you, I would surmise, this is my position, I would posit that most people listening to this are either a CEO, a PBO, or a key executive. By that, I mean chief executive officer, business owner, PBO, professional business owner, or key executive have a decent level of acumen within your occupation. This is the thing. Sales will help you. Sales will help you in your business. Transactions will help you in your business. So this gentleman, it was a gentleman, is asking for a spiritual transaction. But when I looked up to see his repertoire or his resume of giving value, it was non-existent. It was non-existent. So if you want to pull money out, pull energy out, pull value out of the marketplace in any situation whatsoever, you're going to have to be a contributor. You're going to have to be this was the sad thing. I didn't see any comments on it. Like some people will ask for assistance and then you'll see 100 comments, 200. Sometimes you'll see 3K comments and all of the value going back in. But when I looked up and I saw that there was no comments, I said, let me see what this, how this person contributes. And it was very bleak, very nil. So I want you to think the things that you want out of the marketplace, you need to put into the marketplace, guys. Start your week with this energy. Start your week with this understanding. In order to pull money out, you got to pour value in. You're looking for transactions. I would offer that you might want to push transformation in to pull a transaction out.
Man, there's so much here because it makes me think about mental real estate and a lot of other things. But the reason mental real estate comes to my mind is because I was doing some research this morning, and there is a company known as Stadia, I believe, Stadia, and they did a study on how much we scroll on social media. And the study said about 108 minutes a day, about 108 minutes a day. And what that equaled was roughly 1.7 miles a week, if I remember correctly. The one number that I'm certain of is 88 miles a year. So your finger scrolls about 88 miles a year on social media. And
Wow.
when we think about mental real estate, we're thinking about what we're consuming, and we're also thinking about what we're thinking about and holding on in our heads. And the reason I'm making this correlation, that might seem abstract at this point, but when I bring it all together, I hope you see it more clearly. But imagine if you scrolled, say, 108 minutes a day. You're the average person, so to speak. And a lot of the things that you're consuming are, say, suggestions. And as you're taking in these suggestions, you might buy something, or you might adopt a perspective, or you might get burdened down with a limiting belief, or all these different things are being added to you. And what's interesting here is that producers produce and consumers consume. That's where I really wanted to go with that. Producers produce and consumers consume. And a lot of times we hear things about how big the African American economy is. But what we don't always take into consideration is that a lot of our economy is in the consumption component, not the production component. So we consume billions of dollars in, say, cosmetics and all of these other things, but we produce very little, almost invisible amounts in comparison to the grand scheme of the billions of dollars being produced. Like, you probably couldn't find us on there, but now we've got Rihanna. She's representing with Fenty, I believe is the name of hers, and we're kind of getting in there more. But all of that is to get back to this law of reciprocity, which is, what are you consuming? How much of it are you consuming? And how are you balancing your consumption with production? Because if all you do is consume, but you don't actually produce, then you don't create the law of, you don't create the transaction. Oh man, I'm looking for the words. It's if all you do is consume, what you'll get is more things to consume. But if you produce and consume, you will be able to consume more quality things because you're producing more quality work. So it's this very interesting cycle, and I don't want to go too deep, but it's called current. So we call it currency. But the way current actually works is it revolves, it bounces, it goes from one side to the other side.
That's
why
right.
you have a negative battery and a positive, and they're charging each other. But when you have a one-way line, it dissipates after a while, when you actually want it to be positive, negative, and circulate, because it's a current.
Boom. You know the thought that comes to my mind in the word? The word is burnout. People say I'm burnt out. Listen, the car battery dies, guys. If you try to drive for 88 miles and you don't have 88 miles of gas, like, you got to stop and keep refilling. You got to stop and keep refilling. But if you're not being filled up, right? If what you're consuming is not feeding you, if it's not giving you value, then it's consistently taking value from you in the marketplace. So we want to, of course, be a resource that gives you value, right? And gives you transformation early in the morning, because I already know what you're going to face for the rest of the day. That 88 miles, that 108 miles. I already know what you're going to face for the rest of that day. The rest of today, I already know it's Monday. You're going to go to a job that is like, maybe, right? See people that are like, maybe. It's Monday. Everybody's energy is low, guys. We want to be an energizer for you to wake you up the right way and get you started the right way. And then the thought right now, the thought is, what are you producing? What are you producing of value that makes a person want to transact? That makes a person say, you know what, this person is of value. There's a reason to listen. Because one of the things that I've found when working with clients and telling them to get busy in the marketplace is they start and they say, it's not working. They start to get active in the marketplace and they come back and they're like, coach, it's not working. And I say, of course it's not working. And what do you mean? I'm supposed to get sales out of this. I said, no. What you need to do is build up a habit. What you want to do is you want to invoke karma. What you want to do is begin the habit of giving. Everybody's concerned with getting, but I want to get you in the mindset of giving. And let me tell you why. Everybody will look at, the Breakfast with the Brand or the Sean Wright East brand or Breakfast Branded Like a Leader, Coaching Like a Leader, Speaking Like a Leader, and be like, but you're getting. Like, Sean, all of these programs are pouring into you and they don't understand. Like when we started by giving. There was no transaction on the back end that was even premeditated. It was just a give. During the time that I launched, it was a self-sacrificial opportunity to provide value. That was it. There was no, okay, I'm going to launch this at this date, or after doing this for 3 months, then I'm going to launch this. No, it was just helping the people get out from under the bed at a time when everybody was scared to death. That's what it was. And because it was a self-sacrificial act of generosity and giving, it's called leadership. Because it was that, without looking for something on the back end, people wanted more. They saw the value, they saw the tenacity, they saw the dedication, they saw the resilience, they saw the consistency, they saw the intensity. I've had people come to me after a call, and this might be their first call, second call, third call, and be like, listen, what are you doing? Like, what do you have to sell? Because I want to buy. And I'm like, where did you come from? How long have you known? I'm like, I'm suspicious sometimes. Sometimes I push money away and I'm like, I don't know. Like, why do we want to do business? Like, where do you know us from? And they'll just say, I came into the call this morning, or I've seen you like twice. I didn't even know you existed in some cases, but they'll say the quality of the value that you provide. Like the work that you did to put together the PowerPoints and all of that, and the time that you do this and the hours that you give and the level of the value that you provide just makes me want to work with you. And I'm like, okay, that sounds great. Let's go. But this is without an offer. And this is without a pitch. Click the link below, click the link below, click the link below. There's no clickable links. This is just giving value consistently, day after day, month after month, week after week, and now phenomenally year after year. See, what happens is you begin to kickstand off of the resistance, guys. There's a wall of resistance to you because everybody's trying to sell stuff. So there's a wall of resistance against you, and it's propped up by a kickstand. And what you do when you consistently add value over months, weeks, days, and years is you kick the kickstand out of the way, and the wall falls. And then the value pours out, the reciprocity pours out. But of course, it's resistant at the very beginning because everybody thinks that you're a snake salesman, a snake oil salesman. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I've heard from virtually everybody that I've worked with, very few people have come to work with Sean Rais for their first go round, right? Most people are like, I've had this many coaches, this many courses, I've been in this many different things. I've spent $250,000. I spent 6 figures over here and absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. So what I'm trying to say to you guys is that people in the marketplace have been burned. Everyone you're trying to sell to has been sold to, and 98.9% of them have been lied to. So they got their hopes up, right, Bobby? They got their hopes up. They put their money together. They made an investment with the hopes of an outcome. The outcome didn't come. And this has happened over and over and over again. And now here you go for the first, second, third, fifth time thinking they're just supposed to buy from you because you showed up.
Wow. This makes me think about a 3-pronged process of anticipation, execution, and trust. It's kind of what comes to my mind. And but that last thing that you just said kind of threw a wrench in that thought process, because I'm thinking as you're talking, I'm writing, and I'm just like absorbing all of this. And one of the things that I'm thinking about is just the universal laws of business. If there were universal laws of business, I think there are. There's no escaping them. You know, there's no escaping them. How do they say it in the judicial system? They say ignorance of the law does not excuse it. It does
That's
not
right. I know that one real well.
So I think what I see a lot of times, and what I personally experienced in my life as I try to scale and grow myself and my business, is that we try to break the rules, so to speak.
Oh, yeah.
See, rules can be broken, but laws cannot. And when we're talking laws, I mean universal laws. Universal laws can't be broken. Those aren't rules. Rules are man-made kind of ideas that are enforced with judicial and law enforcement. Those are rules and what the world calls laws. But the universe's laws, those are much different. And I think that as we've developed as people in our society, we have become accustomed, dare I say, to breaking the rules. We've lost our morality. And in a large extent, like we're all about what's in it for me. We're all about subjectivity. We're all about, I see it my way, you see it your way. Now, I'm not against individuality. I fought for this country and our freedoms. I believe in them. I am a proud proponent of Voltaire. Voltaire was the French philosopher who put it this way: I may not agree with what you say, but I will fight for your right to say it. Like, I'm all for those things.
Nice.
I'm all for those things. But what I also want to be for is the truth, the reality. And the reality is this: if you try to break the laws of business, in my experience, if you try to break the laws of business, you'll break yourself against the laws, because they won't break. The laws won't break, but you
That's
will.
right.
And when I say you will break yourself against the laws, you'll end up broke. Broke. If you don't want to be broke, stop trying to break the rules, because they're not rules. They're laws. And I know this one from personal experience. My coach was like, write the book, do the course, write the book, do the course. That's a law. He's like, I need you to put enough value out at one time in a way that will create enough like reciprocity and fluidity of transaction for you to get to the next level. Like, you can't get around this, Bobby.
Nope.
But I kept, like, all right, coach, all right, coach, all right, coach. And I broke myself against the law. So please take it from me. Don't put yourself through it. Just do it.
I love it. I love it. Now that's a moment of transparency, right? So since we're on that note, like I know everybody wants the sale, but sometimes money stops money. Sometimes money stops money. Sometimes no money makes money. So people say it takes money to make money. No, it doesn't. No, it does not. It requires value. It requires giving more than is asked for. There is cash use and there is active use. And most people want less active use for more cash use. And that's the problem. What you want to do to open the floodgates of the universal storehouse of real money comes from real value being given. And real value being given in excess of cash value being taken. Most people want to give as little as they possibly can and get as much as they possibly can out of the marketplace. That's the wrong way to look at it. That's the wrong way to look at it. And that's where these bad boys come into play. These come into play when you say, okay, here is everything that I learned about life and business for about 37 years. So a person will say, how long did it take you to write the book? It took 30 days. A little bit less than 30 days to write the full book, right? Why? Why did it take that little bit of time? Because it couldn't stop. Like I poured so much value into myself and lived for 37 years, so it couldn't stop. And as soon as I put my pen to paper, it was like, it really just flowed out. Why? Because I wasn't so concerned with how I was perceived. See, people are scared of critique. People are scared of critique, and they're more concerned with the way they're perceived as opposed to the value they put out. Now, I got to invoke somebody right now. Grant Cardone. Grant Cardone said the first book that I wrote, I had a million, like all my words were misspelled. Like he said all my words were misspelled. And he said people used to hit him and say, you know, this book has so many misspelled words. And he would laugh and say, are you trying to fix it or condemn it? Because it's a bestseller. So it's a bestseller with multiple misspelled words. Show me your book. You're never going to be critiqued by people above you or on the same level. You're only going to be critiqued and judged and ridiculed and criticized by people who are beneath you, who have done less than you. That's a guarantee. So because of what Bobby said, what you do is you put in massive amounts of value and then you give this way. So you don't make money off books. But what you do is you create relationships and you create value. And you give more value than a person could possibly pay you back for. That's the greatest gift. The greatest gift is to selflessly give and to selflessly live and to selflessly lead and to selflessly contribute. When you do this at a high level, you'll never want for anything in your life or in your business or in your relationships or in your communication. It's the same thing. That's that universal law. It works in love. It works in business. It works in finances. It works in all across the board, unequivocally. But again, they don't want to do this. They want to make money right now. They're like, oh, I don't want to write the book, Sean. I got to make sales. I don't want to write the book. I got to make sales. I got to make sales. Money today, money today, money today. Okay, great. What do they say? Okay, great. There's a story though that is in this book actually. I talk about the ant and the grasshopper. The grasshopper is money today. Money today, money today. I need money today. I'm having fun today. I need money today. I got bills today. You don't understand, Sean. I got bills. I got bills. Okay, great. Grasshopper. Make money today. The ant stores. The ant prepares. The ant builds a pipeline, a plethora of value. The ant builds branded like a leader, coaching like a leader, speaking like a leader, closing like a leader, consulting like. See, the ant takes himself out of the public eye for years to create this vast storehouse of value, while the grasshopper's supposedly crushing it, killing it everywhere, doing the most. And then in 3 years, the ant presents all of this value, and it's inexhaustible, and it's automated, and it's a system. So the ant doesn't have to build the pipeline 5 times. He builds it once. He sacrifices the first 2-3 years, and then he gets to sit back. While the grasshoppers are losing steam, losing energy, the markets are shifting. They haven't built anything really of massive value. They are of value, but they have to trade themselves for the revenue that comes in. So then they wonder, well, why, how is Sean Rais able to go live every day like it's comfortable and travel and speak and have fun and do all of the things that he would like to do? And it doesn't look like he's really crushing it, like really working. Like, where's the hard work going? Where's the hard work? You know where? Right here. Right here. Right here. When someone purchases a course, they get the hard work that I did 3 years ago. Guys, I hope you understand this is $1 million worth of value right now. This is the source of the millions of dollars that I just gave you during this little spot. So a lot of times people don't value free, Bobby. They be like, oh, it's the breakfast with the brand. It's free. I'm going to listen to this while I do everything else. This should be the most important hour that you have of the day, because this is free millions we giving away. This is the breakfast with the brand. We'll be right back. Business is like a game of chess. It's not checkers. If you don't know how to lead with a personal brand, then you're losing the battle.
Everything about Sean's talk was fantastic. I mean, I got so much from it.
So he was really bringing fire and passion and just love and spirit to let everybody else know how do you become a leader amongst the leaders.
You hold the key in your hand. There is more power in this phone than there was that took the first man to the moon.
His energy, his dynamic information, gave a really great presentation.
I didn't ask for any money. I didn't have an offer. I had a heart to help people and meet them where they were at and find their need and fulfill it.
Sean is the bomb.
I said Sean Rais. I'm proud. I said Sean Rais. Leadership is not the brand they made for us.
Listen, he brought fire, heat. He didn't hold back.
20 years down the line, what I could sell, why not serve first? Service over salary. Branding like a leader closes the gap for people who want branding. Speaking like a leader closes the gap for people who are nervous about speaking. If Steve Jobs would have speculated, we wouldn't have Apple.
He changed lives. He helped people open up their business and start their business.
We are the brand. Some people say, Sean, should I quit my job? Mentally, yes.
As a speaker too, to be able to learn from him and watch him and you know, game respects game. And I want to have that much game someday.
The right client, pay $500,000 for what you do. You have to be bold in your beliefs.
He has been an amazing asset to this event and a pleasure to work with. Very captivating, collaborative, worked very well with the audience.
I want to help you. Put a 0 behind your number, right?
The session was great. How he is online, virtually, he is even more phenomenal in person.
Be the face of change that you want to see. Stop asking questions and start giving demands.
The entire team has just been absolutely incredible. They are a joy to work with. They go above and beyond.
Give yourself a round of applause. Yes, yes, yes. So yeah, that's like a mini clinic. Right, guys? I know it's Monday, but I'm going to send you out of here like it's Friday.
That was crazy, coach. It was crazy because like I wrote down self-reliance and like business is a battlefield. Like as you were talking, you took me back to Iraq. Like real.
Let's go.
Like you took me back to Iraq. I'm like, what's going on? Like, what am I hearing right now? And I've been under your tutelage for like 3 years, but I still get those, you know, those moments of just out of body experiences. And what came to my mind was this, man. And guys, I think this is going to help you all too. Is when we're in a combat zone. So those that don't know my story, 12 years military experience, and I brought that to the business space. So while in the Marine Corps for those years, I deployed on multiple occasions, special operations, and I was in the logistics space. And here's something that's very, very interesting. You want to get to the LZ, the landing zone, the exit spot, how you get out. I want you guys to think about that because we've all seen like the war movie. Think about that as like the money, the bag. Getting on the helicopter is getting the bag. Now, in that process, you've got to get there. You got to get to the LZ. And sometimes you're behind enemy lines. Sometimes you might be what's called a POW, prisoner of war.
Yeah.
Now, I want to put you into a mind frame because in America, we're very animated people. We like visuals. So I want you to imagine yourself as a service member, military, and you got dropped off, parachuted out of a plane. That's you leaving your job. You just jumped out, pulled your parachute, you left your job. Now you're settling down. Woo. As you get down, boom, you're behind enemy lines. They shot your plane down. When they shot your plane down, they took your 401k, they took your W-2, they took all your stuff. So you're floating. All you got is your skills. You got your expertise, your education, and your experience. Boom. That's all you got. And you're falling down. Boom, you're behind enemy lines. Now that you're behind enemy lines, I want you to think about the value. The value is the only way you get to the LZ, but you're behind enemy lines. The people you're trying to sell to have been lied to. So you got to overcome that. You are tired. You probably out of water. You just delusional. So you got to overcome that. Meaning, oh snap, this is business. Oh snap, I don't know business. Oh snap, I don't speak their language. Oh snap. So like you're in a whole other country around people. You can't even get the resources that are all around you because you don't speak the language. I said a lot there, so I'm gonna say that again. When you are new to business, you might not speak the language of business. So you got money all around you. But because you're behind enemy lines and you don't speak it, you can't get the resources that are right there. Like if you just knew the words to say, you'd have the money in your hands, but you just don't know the language because you're behind enemy lines. So what you want to do is you got to figure out how to get this thing done. So here's what I wrote down. Branding, because I'm going to give you guys how it helped me. Branded like a leader, marketing like a leader, and closing like a leader. Here's how these work together. Branded like a leader is your rifle. That's the rifle. Marketing like a leader, ammunition all day. Close that mug up. And then closing like a leader is hand-to-hand combat. You out of weapons, you got to get it done. You just got a hand-to-hand combat. You in their face with it. And with those things, ladies and gentlemen, I guarantee you, because it's exactly what I used, I guarantee you can get to the bag, but you have to give the value, meaning pull the trigger, aim in. Let them have it. When you run out of ammunition, the rifle's jammed up, hand-to-hand combat, close. However, you can only do these things if you have the skills, if you have the training, if you went through boot camp and SEER school, all the different things that I went through. So SEER school is survive, escape, resist, and evade. So I trained to be a POW in the event that I ever became a POW. So I knew how to survive POW camp so that I could make it to the LZ. So ladies and gentlemen, you're behind. You can make it, but you need to go to SEER school, which is branded like a leader, marketing like a leader, closing like a leader.
Guys, there's so much and so many analogies. I'm always humbled, right? I'm always humbled when somebody says they got value, when somebody actually applies what they learn or what they pay for, because I always say that it's evidence-based and guaranteed. It's not hyperbole. It's not a theory. I didn't go to theory school. Like, that's not what I do. These things on the wall are very serious to me, and I'm still in college now. I've written 3 books. I present courses, and I'm still learning at the same time because I need to make sure that nothing changes and everything stays evidence-based and immediately applicable. As a matter of fact, we went and we updated Branded Like a Leader to Branded Like a Leader 2.0, positioning like a leader, because it was so important that people got the update. So one of them is like the machine gun and the artillery piece, and the next one is like a sniper. So you catch your one of one. So Branded Like a Leader is like it gives you all that you need for branding and all that you need to apply your brand in the business. So it's like Arnold Schwarzenegger in Terminator. It's just hitting them. Remember when the first one where he's just in front of he's just hitting everything up. That's Branded Like a Leader. Artillery, crushing, dominating, setting the stage. Yeah. Branded Like a Leader 2.0 is kind of like Bourne. It's like Jason Bourne. 1 shot, 1 kill. Or 1 shot, 1 sale. 1 message, 1 sale. Waiting for days. Might be waiting for weeks for that one target to cross your path. And then boom. Where every client is a whale. Guys, all you need is 1. I guarantee you this. All you need is 1. You're doing so much because you're not focused. You're doing so much because you're not concentrated, and nothing's working because your resources are spread out. Like Robbie said, you're delusional. You're delusional and you're disoriented because it's new to you. And what you need to be, and it doesn't make a difference. I don't care if it's me or someone else. What you need to do, though, is you need to get on comms with someone back at home. You need to get on comms with someone who's back at home, who's been to war before, a veteran who survived multiple campaigns and made it out, and now they're a senior. What you need to do is find the comms so you can speak to the people that's going to say, calm down, soldier. Okay, you're hit. You took one. Phenomenal. Let's go. Bite it off just like your tongue is hanging. Bite the rest of it off and push through. Like, stop thinking about it because you're overthinking the situation. You're scared to death, but you don't need to be. What you need to do is make it to the LZ, and I'm going to give you the tools that you need to, and I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to do. There's lions, there's tigers, there's bears, oh my. There's snakes, there's liars, there's fake contracts, there's all kinds of stuff out here. There's people that are going to tie you up on a closing call for 2 hours and then tell you they're not qualified. If you let them. But if you listen to me, I'm going to tell you how to evade the enemy and the distractions and the nonsense and the naysayers and low confidence and low self-esteem and fake money so you can really get to it. That's what you need to get to. So you need to get the comms so that you got the right communication, so you can have the right confidence. Because you can be successful, and if you're not being successful, it's because you got the wrong operating system. So there was a time when the iPhone 7 was the best, top creme de la creme. But now it's the iPhone 15, so the 7 doesn't work as well. So while you're at work and you got a job, you're thinking this is the operating system. I just need to be a good person. I just need to show up the right way consistently. No, you don't. No, sir, not at all. No, ma'am, not at all. In this market, you need to dominate your vertical. You need to position yourself strongly. What do they say? Everything that they say conventionally doesn't work in application, just so everybody's aware of that. Like whatever you learned in school, whatever you learned in like your jobs, like none of that stuff is applicable here. Forget everything you learned. Forget everything you learned. That's the first thing. None of the rules that you learned in regular combat. From Harriet Tubman to Sojourner Truth to Rosa Parks, we have always been on a freedom run. Your LLC, your S Corp, C Corp, your business entity is what's going to give you the ability to go from your job, your industry wages, your 9 to 5, to the life of your dreams and the dream of your life. This is about you attaining all of the things that you could only possibly imagine and that our ancestors saw as not even being possible. Your freedom run, this is your freedom run. This is your moment. We're going to show you how to establish yourself as a business entity so you can go and come as you choose. There was a time when we needed permission slips to go from plantation to plantation. When you get a little bit older, you need permission slips to go from class to class. And when you get a little bit older, you get a vacation for 2 weeks, and then you have to come back after 2 weeks to your job, right? That's what they call it now, the 9 to 5, the gig. You might you work for 50 weeks and you get 2 off. The freedom run is when you establish your LLC and you're free for the rest of your life. Enemy gunfire. Enemy gunfire register, right? Listen, guys, what I'm trying to say to you is that the way to the bag is obvious. It's literally a straight line. The shortest distance between 2 places is a straight line. The problem is you're all over the place. So what we do with the Breakfast with the Brand is we try to establish the straight line and bring you back. Because you're going to go through war today. Wherever you're going today, we got 10 minutes to disband. We got 10 minutes to this part. You're going to start your day and the bills are going to show up. The family's going to show up. The boss is going to show up. The transportation is going to show up. There's going to be all kinds of structural breaks, all kind of structural fault lines throughout this entire operation. But then tomorrow morning, we can reestablish the comms. We can reestablish the straight line and get you back on path and get you back concentrated and get you back focused. Because there's one objective. But everybody's objective is different. But in business, there's one main objective, and that is to remain profitable. If you're not profitable, you don't have a business. If you can't make money, then you don't have a business. Somebody sold you a lie that a piece of paper was a business. No, a piece of paper is not a business. A piece of paper gives you the opportunity to provide business services. But if you're not able to properly translate that in the marketplace and pull value out as you push value in, then you don't have a business. And that's the worst thing in the world, is that a person could be falsely assume that they're in business when they're actually not. Because what will happen is you'll continue to do the same thing, thinking that you're successful because you're doing stuff, right? So just executing on the wrong initiative will get you slaughtered in business.
Slaughtered. Man, when we were talking about the iPhone, I wrote down planned obsolescence. And planned obsolescence is like one of the, and I'll just define that term, is one of the most elusive and hidden barriers to entry. So I remember riding around training for a deployment, and there was these things called IEDs. Oh man, I cannot remember what the acronym stands for, but I believe it was individual explosive device, but I can't remember what the I is. But the way IEDs work is they were like minefields. So what an IED was designed to do was to be covered up with like dirt and things of that nature and have a trip wire or like a pressure plate. So when you ride over it or you trip it, then it explodes. And barriers to entry in business are things that keep people out. So that's what an IED minefield is designed to do. It's designed to keep the aggressing military forces at bay by creating so many unpredictable, unforeseeable issues that they just stay away. They just stay out, right? They just stay out. So when we talk about planned obsolescence, I want everyone to understand that what that means is that there is a plan for what's working now to stop working later. That's what planned obsolescence means. So what would happen is, let's say, and a lot, man, okay, I want to use a different analogy. So imagine if you created a watch, and this watch had a particular charger, and the battery for that watch was designed to charge with this particular charger. And you said in your head that what I want to do is I want to make as much money as possible without having to create a ton of more value. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create this battery to last only 2 or 3 years, but I'm also maybe 1 year. I'm gonna make this battery last 1 year, and I'm gonna make this charger last for 1 year, and I'm gonna design it to break. I'm gonna design it to no longer work in a year, so that when that thing is no longer working, I gotta make sure that I've given enough value for them to become dependent on it. So now that they're dependent on the watch, and I know the battery's gonna break in a year, what they're going to have to do is either learn to live without it or come back to me for another battery. And what I'm going to do, this is planned obsolescence, ladies and gentlemen, planned obsolescence. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the next battery twice as expensive. And then I'm going to create an upgrade for the watch. And they're going to come, and they're going to get the new battery, and they're going to pay for it, and they're going to get the new upgrade, and they're going to integrate that into their life, and then that battery's going to die. And then I'm going to charge them for another one. And that's the cycle. So why you want to have comms back at the States is for the same reason that we have them, is because the IEDs would evolve. One, like this IED, you could see it a mile away. The next IED, like the more you get into enemy territory or the more they've engaged with your tactics, the more skilled they become at deceiving you. So I'll end it with this, because I didn't want to go down any rabbit holes there, but I did want to say this planned obsolescence and barrier to entry piece for the comms aspect. When you are getting into business, I need you to understand that, okay, be careful how I say this.
Be nice. Be nice, Bobby.
Exactly.
Don't have them shut us down now.
So I'll say it like this. There isn't a zero-sum game, but there is territory. All right. So a zero-sum game it means that in order for you to have, someone else has to lose. So that's the mindset of the zero-sum game. So what that is SUM, like the sum of things. So a zero-sum game means if I get something, you have to lose something. Now, that's not necessarily the reality in business. It doesn't have to be, but it can be.
No.
And what a lot of people think is that it is. They believe that it's a zero-sum game. And if you believe that way, then you're going to create barriers to entry for other people. They call those guys gatekeepers, or they call these individuals a bunch of things. But if you think that it's a zero-sum game, you'll create barriers to entry for other people. So what I wanted everyone to know is someone, or not even someone, the business environment has individuals in it that believe that this is a zero-sum game. You have the creative mind and the competitive mind.
Whew,
and if they are in the competitive mind, they're creating barriers to entry for you. And if they're creating barriers to entry for you, the best thing you can do is get connected with people that have overcome the barriers to entry, because they can tell you how to navigate those barriers to entry so that you can get where you're trying to go. So that was just that piece. And I know it took a little while because I had to navigate that. I was walking on minefields there, but you gotta be careful. You gotta be careful how you articulate some things, because listen, guys, like, it's personal. Like, for me, like, I want to see you successful seriously to a super high degree.
And even I have taken roads down this path where others that I thought had the same intentions for me did not. So there's something called active subterfuge. Active subterfuge is when someone acts like they have the best intention for you, but at the same time, they're trying to disable you and do you harm, disable your initiative. I have paid people to do active subterfuge on what I'm building, work against me at the same time that I think they're working for me and with me. And that's the worst thing that can possibly happen. Trust me when I tell you, that's like the worst thing that you could possibly happen. You look up to someone, you work with them, you're like, okay, I trust you, you're going to help me get from here to here, and you pay for the toll, and at the same time, you're being taken into a hostage territory in a POW situation. I've been there in business, and it has costed 8 figures. 8 figures. And this is why we want to provide you with this kind of value for free so that you can avoid the IEDs that are like wolves in sheep's clothing and want to commit active subterfuge on you. We'll talk more about that tomorrow. Same time, same place. Just know today that you have an open field and the world is a wide open field for the wide awake man and woman. Let's grow.